So we've got the cave series now, and we know that we're going to add to that. We're going to include more things, of course. But after that, or in addition to that, what else are we thinking that we might do now?
Well, we're always going to continue doing what we've always done, which is to update all the online training courses we've got. Sidemount predominantly, of course, and all the whiteboard series, we've got new ones coming out, but we've also got updates to all the other whiteboard series as well we're adding in. The totally new courses, you could say, one we're thinking of doing is to definitely try and help the entry-level divers more. Yeah, we do have a back mount online series already, and that's been doing very, very well, helps a lot of divers, but I do think we can delve into that more. And we've definitely seen that, you know, the way an instructor might teach an open water course, you could argue any average to good instructor would do a fairly good job of, you know, taking a new student and actually getting them comfortable and completing the requirements for an open water scuba diver, where you're learning skills like, you know, mask clearing, equipment removal, clearing the regulators, all the safety skills. And during those courses, you get some time to start learning about weighting and swimming and how to enjoy the underwater world, right? But I think there's a huge gap after that where, you know, those divers, they're just not progressing very well. We talk about advanced open water, but it doesn't really mean a lot, those certifications. It can be really good for one and not so good for another. So it tells me that there's a big gap there for people to understand essential skills. And there's definitely a market there where we need to explore and create training for. So that basically any open water student can gain access, or should gain access, to this online training series I'm talking about, to just become a better diver, to be better in the water, have better essential skills, and then anything they want to do after that, any level they want to get to potentially, they're going to be able to do, whether it be into the technical fields, whether it just be into enjoying the open water dives they're doing more. Because like we've talked about with caves being so different around the world, well, open water sites are incredibly different all around the world. So wherever you train is not going to prepare you for that. But anything we put together material-wise would certainly cover all those bases. On top of that, and I'll let you expand on any of this, on top of that, I believe that with our whiteboard series, we've certainly gone into the theory needed for advanced nitrox courses, decompression procedures courses, and even trimix level we're going to be bringing out as well. And that's great, but I think there's definitely a water component part of that as well, where we could maybe, like we've done with all our training, make better materials for the advanced nitrox diver and the decompression level diver, and all the relevant courses that go to there.
Yeah.
So we're talking like technical divers now, both in a twin set and also side mount.
I think your comment about the open water diver, I think, is really interesting, because a lot of divers, when they begin their diving journey, they don't necessarily know that they're going to enjoy it. They don't really know if diving is for them. So, you know, we get asked a lot, you know, why isn't the open water course a 10-day program where you can go into lots of details around buoyancy, finning, you know, advanced techniques? And I think part of the answer for that is that it might be too much for what the diver wants at that time. They want to be safe. So, of course, you talked about having to cover the essential safety skills. There are ISO standards that govern what needs to be in an open water course. So, of course, that needs to be the minimum focus. I think then, you know, you're going to really get some divers who will be happy with that. That'll let them do whatever it is that they want. And they won't necessarily want to do more or need to do more. But I think you are going to get divers that are more interested and want to take that further. And I think that's probably where there is that jumping off point. Because that's the diver now who's now ready and prepared to do a little bit more work. So I'm not necessarily thinking that we should change the open water course. And, you know, I mean, I can teach you how to clear your mask, but so can many other people. So I don't think I can add a lot of value, you know, in that type of work. When the student's ready to take on more and they want to do that, that's probably where we can add more value. And so, you know, if I think about how much time I was given during my open water course to understand correct weighting, to maybe attempt the frog kick, to think about how to trim myself, that was all new information for me. I didn't find that stuff out until much later on in my diving journey. And if I could have found that earlier out, I think I would have had a much better time as I moved through the later levels,
Yeah.
and when I was going on trips and doing diving. So I think the idea that you do something that is open water plus, or something for the diver who wants to know more, and that for me is probably the thing that I'm more excited about.
Yeah.
Particularly when I think about divers that are coming for, let's say, entry-level side mount training. That might be the first time they've heard of this stuff, where correct weighting, again, it wasn't discussed for them. You're not aware that an aluminium cylinder does behave differently from a steel cylinder.
Sure.
And so what you're doing is you're not compromising your side mount course, but you're having to include a lot of things that are in there,
Yeah.
which actually don't really belong to side mount. You know, fin kicks are fin kicks, right? Buoyancy is buoyancy.
Definitely.
And I think one of the problems that maybe we have is that because we are called side mounting, you know, what we really want to be is called diving something. You know, we're about diving and enjoyment and, you know, skills that are appropriate for what you're doing. So I think that, you know, there is a different audience that potentially we could help. And that for me is probably the next interesting thing to do.
Yeah, yeah. And we'll definitely be doing it.